Today, we're going to be using Unity's Tree Creator tool to create more unique kind of plants, not just trees, all through simple procedural settings. It means no custom models, just numbers that anybody can tweak. So I've set up my scene here. I have my little bench, my one sad little aloe vera plant, and I would love to add more variety to this. The plant that I'm looking to model today is an Aeonium, I guess. I was looking at different kinds of succulents. It's always a good idea when you're modeling plants to maybe look up a reference image of kind of what you're going for. So I definitely want this red color that fades to this green in the middle. We have a thick stem, I guess, trunk, whatever this is. And then if you look at the structure of these plants, it seems like it's, right, like one big branch, and then as they branch off, there's like one flower at the end of each of these. And then the succulents themselves, these petals, you can kind of see the pattern of the swirl that we have here. So I'm going to be using this one mostly for the structure of how we're going to build these plants, but this one more for the color, right? This structure, this one color. So we're going to right click and create a 3D object that is a tree. And it's already pretty massive. So let's find it. There it is. So it's definitely way too big. So we're going to click on the first branch group up here and let's make the length way smaller. Just a little guy. And then the radius, also pretty small. Sweet. All right. Now, maybe one of the first things I want to adjust is this radius. The fact that it goes down to a point, I don't really see in the original. This kind of looks like a cylinder pretty much all the way up, right? As we're looking at this. Yeah, kind of a big chunky cylinder. Maybe a teeny tiny taper right near the end. And you can see as I'm editing it, yep, it like changes this cap. And you can double click on these graphs to add more points if that's something that you want, right up till the end where it gets just a little bit smaller, but not by much. So if we look at the structure of this, maybe I'm going to do it based off this main branch here, a thick one, and then, I don't know, the distribution of branches, there's maybe like 6 or so. We will go in here and we will add a branch group. Oh, way too long. So we're going to take the length and bring it down. There we go. The frequency, let's put like 6 branches on this, maybe 8. The distribution, alternate, opposite. I don't know. At this point, I feel like random's probably fine. Although I do see it going like opposite side, like I see the cross here, opposite. I don't know. Maybe I'll do opposite. We're not really getting a lot of branches near the top, which might be this growth scale. Ah, there we go. Now, when we're looking at this, the branches are kind of tilted up. It could be Seek Sun or it could be growth angle. And I wonder if growth angle, can we curve it? Oh, not really. Can we curve the Seek Sun? So if we make the Seek Sun bigger, but oh, it doesn't really do much. All right, now the same thing with the radius of our branches. Our branches are kind of ending in a point, so I'm gonna go to radius and we're gonna smooth it out so they kind of end chunky. Sure. So I'm trying to look for settings where I can curve these branches, but I wonder if because the tree is so small, we just don't have enough data, like we don't have enough length to curve this. So I'm gonna try making this on a much bigger scale, and then we'll scale it down in the transform component. So I'm gonna take this and make the length bigger. We'll make the length of these ones bigger as well. And now, what about Seek Sun? Ah, yeah. All right, yep. So I'm gonna use Seek Sun, even though it's becoming a little crinkly. That's because of my graph down here. So we can adjust this graph to get those bends that we wanna see, right? The very end of it is poking up. Cool, I'm happy with that. Now, I do wonder if we go back to the main branch and our frequency we set to like 3. Yep, and then our distribution, we stack them all kind of in the middle. Cause what if what I'm trying to go for is the bottom branch here has multiple branches coming out. We're getting there. If I make their crinkliness a little bit, okay, and it's kind of made it branch out a little bit, not terrible. Take a look at our branches and I want the max length just a little bit less. Sure, yeah, that kind of works. All right, I think it's time for us to add those flowers, which is going to be a leaf group. Ooh boy. All right, we want to make sure that the distribution is all the way at the end. So nothing at the bottom. We're pushing it all the way up to the top, right? Just the very end. Let's try upping the frequency. Yep. And then let's put the side down. These are small little guys. Actually, this is looking much better. Now, if we take a look at the distribution, alternate, opposite, world, I don't know, world makes sense to me, I guess. Okay, look how short these branches are and how many there are kind of in this one view versus ours. It's a little bit more leggy. chunky. So I'm gonna take the leaf groups and I'm gonna make their size actually bigger. Yeah. All right. I think a couple more things. The branch group that's here, I want them like a little thicker than that. So I've upped their radius as high as it can go. There we go. Just a little bit thick. All right. You know what? Okay. Let's do it. Let's put a texture on this. All right. So I went ahead and made a couple textures. Here's this guy, and then there's a stem texture. I don't know if they'll work well, but we'll give it a go. So I'm gonna drag these into my textures folder. For the leaf itself, I wanna make sure that it is alpha as transparency. There we go. Okay, now for materials, once again, I'll right click and create another folder. And within that folder, we will create a new material called Aeonium leaf, or maybe flower _ matte. And then the shader, I'm just gonna look for leaves, and I'm gonna use the tree creator leaves fast because I really only have one texture for it. And I'm gonna drag in the leaf texture. And there, that's what it looks like. That's fine by me. We're just basic shapes, right? And then for the other Aeonium material, let's go ahead and right click and create a new material. And this is going to be stem _ matte. And I'm looking up bark, and I'm just gonna do regular bark. I only have a base texture. I did not do a normal map, but I totally could. Let's just see what it looks like now. So on the Aeonium itself, let's start with the leaves. I'm gonna go to the material and I'm gonna drag in the flower _ matte. Oh, and look at it. Cool. Super cartoony, but cute. All right. Let's go ahead and add the branch material to it. Okay, so we can see what that looks like. I'm gonna go to the other branch stem, and then let's add the branch material so we can get an overall vibe. And it's kind of yellow, which I know is like what I painted, but we can go to this and we can kind of gray it, kind of tone it down. Go back to the tree itself and refresh your texture, and there you go. That's a little bit better. All right, so when we're looking at this flower's not terrible. It's looking cool from the side. I just wish that there was a way to make the interior leaves much smaller. Perpendicular align. Oh, cute. Just a little bit. You know what? I could call this good. All right, like I'm not mad at it. It's not perfect by any stretch, but it's good enough. Let's scale it down like 0.5, 0.5, 0.5. Yeah, that's a little bit more correct in terms of size. All right, I wasn't super happy with the distribution of color, so I went ahead and drew a different Aeonium flower texture. And let's see if this one is any better. So I'm gonna go to the flower matte texture and drag in the new leaf texture. See if this one gives me more of that red pop. And back on the plant and refresh it. Okay, that's much better. I'm just gonna start to sort of place them around the scene. Command D to duplicate. And then once they're sort of placed around in the scene, because I know what I'm going for, eventually there's gonna be a bunch of other plants filling out this garden. But for now, maybe one of the main adjustments that I would make is I'm just gonna take one of these and go to the leaf module, and any changes you make to one affects all of them. So if I make the size of the flowers just a little bit bigger, there, I like that pop of color a little bit better. Okay, and that's, I guess, how to make an Aeonium plant. Like, if you want to go farther, you can duplicate this tree, make a variant of it so that they all look very different than the same kind of thing. All I've done is sort of change the rotation and scale of them to try to make it look a little bit different. But that works for me for now. Cool. That's it for this one. See you in the next one.